sleeping subduction zone could awaken and form a new ring of fire that swallows up the Atlantic Ocean. A modeling study suggests a slumbering subduction zone below the Gibraltar Strait is active and could break into the Atlantic Ocean in 20 million years' time, giving birth to an Atlantic ring of fire. A subduction zone below the Gibraltar Strait creeping westward and could one day invade the Atlantic Ocean, causing the ocean to slowly close up, new research suggests. Now we know that the La Palmas volcano is a hotspot, which is right off the Gibraltar point right there. The subduction zone, also known as the Gibraltar Arc or Trench, currently sits in a narrow ocean corridor between Portugal and Morocco. Its westward migration began around 30 million years ago when a subduction zone formed along the northern coast of what is now the Mediterranean Sea, but it has stalled in the last 5 million years, prompting some scientists to question whether the Gibraltar Arc is still active today. It appears, however, that the arc is merely in a period of quiet, according to a study published February 13 in the journal Geology, and this lull will likely last for another 20 million years, after which the Gibraltar Arc could resume its advance and break into the Atlantic in a process known as subduction invasion. The Atlantic Ocean hosts two subduction zones that researchers know of, the Lesser Antilles subduction zone in the Caribbean and the Scotia Arc near Antarctica. These subduction zones invading the Atlantic several million years ago, lead author João Durant, geologist and assistant professor, University of Lisbon, said, "Studying Gibraltar is an invaluable opportunity because it allows observing the process in its early stages when it is just happening. To test whether the Gibraltar Arc is still active, Duarte and his colleagues built a computer model that simulates the birth of the subduction zone in the Oligocene period 34 million to 23 million years ago, and its evolution until present day. The researchers noticed an abrupt decline in the arc's speed 5 million years ago as it approached the Atlantic boundary. At this point, the Gibraltar subduction zone seems doomed to fail," they wrote in the study. The team then modeled the arc's fate over the next 40 million years and found it painstakingly pushed its way through the narrow Gibraltar Strait from the present day over the next 20 million years. Strikingly, after this point, the trench retreat slowly speeds up, and the subduction zone widens and propagates oceanward, the researchers wrote in the study. Modeling of this kind requires advanced tools and computers that were not available even a few years ago, Duarte said. "We can now simulate the formation of the Gibraltar Arc with great detail and also how it may evolve in the deep future," he said. "If the Gibraltar Arc invades the Atlantic Ocean, it could contribute to forming an Atlantic subduction system analogous to the chain of subduction zones that circles the Pacific Ocean, called the Ring of Fire," according to his statement. A similar chain forming in the Atlantic would lead to oceanic crust being recycled into the mantle via subduction on both sides of the Atlantic, gradually swallowing and closing up this ocean. The Gibraltar Arc's grinding advance over the last 5 million years could explain the relative lack of seismicity and volcanism in this region, which have been used as arguments to dismiss the idea that the subduction zone might still be active. The subduction zone's tectonic silence is a direct result of its extended period of stalled movement, the authors said in their new study. If the movement alongside the subduction interface were small, the accumulation of the seismic strain would be slow and may take hundreds of years to accumulate, they wrote. This agrees with the long recurrence period estimated for big earthquakes in the region. Although many smaller earthquakes have been recorded since, the last major earthquake to rock the region was in 1755, the Great Lisbon Earthquake, which reached an estimate of 8.5 to 9 magnitude, and the earthquake of this magnitude occurred sometime soon. If an earthquake occurred of this sometime soon, is pretty much out of the question. since the last such tremendous event was only 250 years ago, the experts say. And this is on Alive Science by Sacha Parr. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.